Sweet dreams.
I've done comedy mainly my whole career. And when I read this, I was like, oh, this is a role where I can't fall back on my shtick. It was too layered for that, and there was too much of an emotional journey for him. But the character, I went, this is going to be a challenge, and I feel like I'm ready for a challenge. The balance between comedy and drama is you have to figure out when are the times to be lighter, when are the times you got to be a little more earnest. You know, because if it was just laugh a minute, it probably isn't going to be as effective or isn't going to be as powerful. The stuff I found the most challenging was the love stuff, the love scenes, not the sex scenes. Sex scenes is well, fun, really. But no, it was the love stuff. Steve, at the end of the film, has this huge outpouring of love, and that, you know, I was always aware of when that scene was coming up.
One of the biggest challenges on working on this production was doing the Russian scenes. I had a Russian teacher, Masha, who was amazing. I just decided to get out every single Russian film I could research, and I bought Russian music, and I would meet up with friends who had Russian friends and run the dialogue with them. And I also saw a dialect coach in LA as well while I was there. I'm a perfectionist, especially with work, and I wanted, you know, Russian people to be watching it and feeling like, that's okay, I believe her.
The biggest challenge in this role is there are lots of sums to do in this. There are lots of threads that go through the film. I find it more so than what I originally thought. Just in discovery along the way, there are lots of relationships to weave through the film. And things that you're offered, you've got to find a key, or you've got to feel that you can bring something to the role. The stuff that I'd sort of thought about to maybe I could bring to Roger then got really rich over time.
Well, as an actor, probably the scene with Todd and stuff. Yeah, most of the scenes with Todd, because it was just. So no, I've never done anything like that before on screen. So it was so weird to be so intimate with someone that I hardly know, really. Like, so it was, and like the first day, I was like flashing him and like kissing him for like an hour.
The self-gratification scene, because I don't normally do that in front of a large group of people, strangers with a high-definition camera. I think the weird thing was that there were dogs watching. Still remember Peppy looking at me with those eyes. Anyway, that was pretty confronting. The LMB.
What's LMB?
Yeah, lick my balls, which has become the motif for Colin, I think. This was his desperate attempt to inject some passion back into his love life. He suggested it to his wife. She didn't really find it a savoury suggestion at all. And who would?
I guess the biggest challenge in taking on a role like this is just basically paring everything back to something that's really simple and real, and just trusting that you don't have to do very much, but just be quite emotionally brave and aware. And I think because I've been doing a cop show for 3 years, where you sort of, in a way, you're wearing lots of armour because you're becoming someone else, and you're having to be a tough guy with crooks and stuff, and a lot of the language is very procedural and technical. And so in a way you put the personal on the back seat, on the back burner. And I've had to really reveal a lot more and just remove a lot of stuff, which is probably what attracted me most to doing the job, because I just thought I need to do that. I actually need, as an actor, to put myself back in a kind of vulnerable place, because even though the other work is quite demanding technically, it's much more difficult in some ways to do the simple human stuff.
The biggest challenge for me was the striptease and the dance, and I must have rehearsed it in my room about 50, 60 times, and I had all these moves planned, and on the day, AJ threw them all out.
AJ's extended Cheryl's part, that she moonlights as a singer in a club. The hardest thing for me there, because I've grown up, that's what I've done all my life, is singing to a camera in a television studio. You sing right down the guts of the camera and get home to the audience. That is like, even though we've done all these other scenes, when I was put in that, I instantly wanted to go down the barrel of the camera And I realised I had to, so it wasn't as easy as that in a funny, dumb way.
Or in the script it was written that Rose is looking at a photograph of her family, the whole family, and I think there were some technical problems of actually somehow doing that photograph. But so Amanda came up with this idea of this painting that I think she personally had really loved of Ophelia. It's Ophelia drowning. And it's blown up and it's very large. And she just threw that idea at me and said, use that. And I thought it was a fantastic idea because I just remember looking at it and just seeing unrequited love that is misinterpreted, a love that feels like it's over. And I remember thinking that it's a painting that obviously Rose has lived with for most of her adult life anyway, I think. And I think she sort of saw it for the first time on a different level.